This worked out well last night, so let's do it again. I'm hungry for some beef. I'll be here all night. My Z87 Plus polarized sunglasses fail to block the intense light reflecting off the fine sand. It's early, 07:05, and so I must be shoreside. The ocean breeze picks up and the moist air glides off my skin, but I'm unable to enjoy this experience due to the wafting aroma of decaying organic matter that burns the marine layer over my brain. Salam alaikum, an ominous man greets me. Wa alaikum salam? The simple greeting exchange triggers a lost sense of reality. It takes a moment for my eyesight to adjust. There's a beach metal detection guy, and his metal detection wand converts into a large diameter vacuum hose, and the pinpointer reconstructs into a garden hose attached to a long metallic spray nozzle. Mr. Beach Metal Detector Guy's mutation is jarring, but he's not writhing in pain for over 2.5 minutes like David in American Werewolf in London, but more like a symphony of horror. Nosferatu isn't his real name. At least I don't think, but more like I don't ask. He's tall, lanky, and bald with reddish tar-stained teeth. He finishes all his work right before sunrise, so I conclude he sleeps in a coffin inside a modular shipping container with a packing list that suggests it was shipped from the Balkans. The large diameter hose is long and connected to a silver bullet-shaped tank on wheels, a honey truck. The white crested waves dry up and reveal blue porta-johns. The ocean breeze that I felt moments before was a mixture of water and biocide. The deodorizer is defeated by human excreta to orient and completely arouse my sensory nervous system. I am no longer on a beach in SoCal. I wake up to this morning fog of denial every day for 7 months while I'm in Waleed, Iraq, and in 2008. As all 150 plus Waleed occupants go inside to eat breakfast, I await outside for Nosferatu to clean all 35 of the porta-johns so I can have a bowel movement, a BM, or Bravo Mike if you need to transmit over secure radio. The logistics of shitting in a combat environment are never talked about, but everyone poops. The average deployed service member's shit kit or shit-taking gear consists of baby wipes, MP3 player, and depending on what time of day it is, an outdated Smooth, Curves, or King's magazine, PX porn. Once a month, we would get a post-exchange or PX with our resupply convoys. The mobile PX is basically a convenience store inside an isotainer on a flatbed. The contents are a fat kid's wish list: Oreos, jerky, Doritos, and Men's Interest magazine. Soft porn. An Iraq afternoon average temperature is 10 degrees warmer than a menopausal mother's hot flash, so you best believe I'm only urinating in the middle of the day. No one sprints at high noon in the desert unless they're getting shot at or they've got mud butt. After a leakage incident, I learned quickly to never trust a fart in Iraq, so I held it in unless I was near a bathroom. In normal kinetic combat conditions, service members are trained to maintain light discipline at night and strictly use night vision goggles, NVGs, to conduct operations. In 2008, Waleed wasn't under normal conditions, and at night, from the four surrounding guard towers, I donned a different type of NVGs, nocturnal voyeur goggles, to observe service members enter porta-johns, some with backpacks. While on watch, I envisioned a laptop loaded with gigs of fetish porn, a tactical expedient fleshlight, perhaps in olive drab or coyote tan, some Astroglide substitute maybe. I chose to ignore so long as the occupancy for each porta-john is 1, because the prohibited activities under General Order No. 1 states you can't have sex, but you're free to go fuck yourself. I don't carry anything when I Bravo Mike in Iraq, not even my standard issue pistol. I figured if I get mortared, then a pistol won't save me. And if we are overrun by the enemy, then he's more than welcome to join me in breaking General Order No. 1. I don't bring baby wipes either because I don't like to leave my hole moist and smelling lilac fresh in a combat environment. So I stick to the Chuck Norris TP because it's rough, tough, and don't take shit from no one. My bowels moved faster than Nosferatu's cleaning, and I decided I could not wait for him to finish his duties one day, so I took my chances playing Porta-John roulette. I had to go, so I didn't execute my cursory search for hazards like scorpions, snakes, or the porta potty peeper with a scat fetish hiding in the tank. I was in mid-flatulence when I noticed a footprint on each side of the seat with a smashed cigarette butt as if to welcome me salam alaikum. The interpreters defiantly rebelled against standard poop procedures by squatting over the lid. The dusty footprints on the tank were their sign of protest. The sons of bitches can't even shit right, I arrogantly thought without considering the empirical evidence that squatting provides over Western convenience. But that's what war reduces humans to, believing one shit is better than another. The sun bleached the outside walls of the Porta-Johns to a light cyan aqua blend, but the inside color was ocean blue. The inner walls were pristine and lacked graffiti. No declaration that the commanding officer and sergeant major were gay lovers. No Sharpie illustration of ropes or droplets coming out of a giant mushroom head atop a disproportionate shaft connected to spherical testes with tight curls for pubic hairs. No vagina sketches of your mom's vag or other derivatives. No stick figure rendering of Jody and your girlfriend in different Kama Sutra positions of penetration. But the most troubling oddity was the complete disregard for Chuck Norris jokes. It was as if Waleed wasn't worthy of it all. The combination of waking up in Iraq, trying to eliminate a Porta-John after someone just smoked and squatted infuriated me. I was so angry during my Bravo mic, I was instinctively driven to masturbate. But even my dick didn't feel like working, and after a few strokes of pulling taffy, I stopped self-soothing and cleaved myself up. The toilet paper cut my grundle when I wiped, which fueled my rage. I stormed out to project my frustrations toward Nosferatu. The spring that retracts the Porta-John caused a loud and delayed slam which caught his attention. Our eyes met through the dark lenses, and he smiled as I stomped through the sand. It is impossible for someone to look tough while walking on the beach. The sand absorbs the rays, and the moment someone attempts to walk barefoot, they are reduced to waddling penguins. Nosferatu's laugh drowns out the pump, and I admit defeat. He cleans the remaining Porta-Johns, then drives the honey truck through the exit gate. He stops at the 400-meter mark, where engineers dug a hole in the sand, an expedient turd pool. Nosferatu reverses the pumps on the honey truck to expel the contents. It's so dry the sand absorbs the liquid instantaneously, leaving only the chunky remains. The giant hose nozzle was Waleed's figurative, misshapen mushroom head shooting ropes into the void. I wondered about all the inhabitants' ejaculate and how quickly it was produced, only to be destroyed. Extracted by the husbands separated away from their significant others who were denied the experience of a pregnancy scare. How many kids did we kill? How much potential was decimated? It's genocide. I'm unable to Bravo Mike, but man, I can't stop thinking about all that shit. At dusk, Nosferatu changes vehicles and collects the trash from all 4 dumpsters. Tattered or unserviceable green undershirts, stretched out white tube socks, veggie omelet MREs are just some of the dumpster contents. Before I deployed to Iraq, garbage was collected in the morning after the wastewater removal. But the nearby Palestinian refugee camp kids would rummage through the trash without permission. I'd like to think that I was executing my duties as the anti-terrorist force protection officer by reducing access to our perimeter. I would claim that I mitigated the possibilities of non-coalition forces to probe our defenses. I denied the enemy the ability to gather intelligence, set up ambushes, or plant fatal IEDs. I can claim that with confidence because that's what my award states. But that didn't make it true. Maybe it was projected anger due to my perception that the Palestinian refugees received so much attention to warrant a visit from Angelina Jolie. Perhaps I didn't know how to break the cycle of neglect and abuse I received as a child, that I perpetuated it by denying the Palestinian kids access to my leftovers and scraps. Looking back, I think they reminded me of my kids who were so far away, and yet the Palestinians were so close that instead of providing them with compassion and love, I buried those emotions and discarded them like the case of expired ravioli. Maybe I stopped firing flares at the pack of wild dogs feasting on the trash to establish the desert pecking order. A few weeks later, I walked the grounds to conduct inventory of food, fuel, ammo, and water levels. We were going over my water allocation. The last resupply was less than a week prior, and it would be more than a week for the next one. I couldn't figure out how we went through so much water until I inspected the tanks. The sand around one of the 500-gallon tanks was a different color than the others. It was clearly leaking. I requested permission for a convoy consisting of 2 up-armored Humvees to escort the Silver Bullet truck for a resupply at our logistics base, Korean Village, an hour-long drive down IED-riddled MSR Mobile. Weather operating conditions varied locally in Iraq, using the traffic light method where if conditions were green, operations were permitted. Red air meant that conditions were bad enough to reduce visibility for pilots, causing aircraft to be grounded and unable to support troops in contact or medevacs. The air was red also due to the sandstorm or haboob. There was a haboob that covered Korean Village, but after 2 days of red air, we took our chances to conduct the convoy. But to execute the convoy, I needed Nosferatu to drive the unarmored water tanker. Gunnery Sergeant Hurst volunteered to serve as Nosferatu's protector and vehicle commander. We started off slow, conducting radio checks every 100 meters. It was difficult to see on MSR Mobile. It was like driving through a coastal brown fog with a glassy mist that cuts your skin. I asked if we could go faster, but Gunny said it was as fast as he could go. Nosferatu was only taught how to shift using reverse and second gear only. The speed limit inside Waleed was 10 kilometers per hour, so he didn't bother to learn or practice the other gears. At that rate, it would take 3 hours just to make it to Korean Village. I made the call to return to Waleed. Nosferatu emerged from the truck differently, like a vampire returned to human form after being staked. Water use was restricted until resupply. Tensions rose like the thick, swarming sand clouds in western Iraq. We took turns cleaning the showers. It was my team's turn when I turned on the light to the shower trailer and noticed a snake on the floor. I wasn't shocked as much as curious as to why the shower trailer. It wasn't coiled and dark like the large whip snake or the desert black snake, and it lacked the scales like the desert horned viper. They normally stay burrowed throughout the day. As I approached, a familiar air of decaying organic matter crossed my olfactory senses to warn me, oh damn, someone shit on the shower trailer floor. I was confused as to why someone would defecate dead center in between the row of showers and sinks. It was a consistent brown log as far as normal Bravo Mike standards, which suggests that it wasn't an accident. It was deliberate and untouched, not a baby wipe or Chuck Norris TP in the vicinity. This phantom shitter defecated and didn't even bother to clean up. The showers were all dry, so he didn't even have the decency to bidet his butt. I closed the shower trailer. My master sergeant voluntarily scooped it up with a trash bag like an experienced dog owner curbing their pet. Speculation swirled. Naturally, we blamed it on the squatters, the interpreters. It was too skillful of an execution to be any service member. The phantom shitter was a mystery. The resupply arrived after the haboob blew through. Nosferatu's supervisor and translator arrived with the tank on the convoy. The supervisor and I talked. Nosferatu was put in harm's way and scared of getting blown up on a convoy for water. The language barrier added to his frustration enough to act out, and that's probably why I suspect he shit on the deck of the shower trailer. He wasn't a demon at all. He wasn't a truck driver, garbage collector, or porta-john cleaner. He was a man living in the Balkans, trying to provide for his impoverished family who jumped on this opportunity to profit from this global war on terror. He may have lied about his skill set, or his company may have lied on his behalf, but I believe he was sent to do a job he wasn't adequately prepared to do, like most of us in Iraq. We all were cleaning up someone else's shit.
Francisco Martinez Coello.